Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. It's Christmas morning. Wherever you are right now, maybe you're in the middle of that first quiet cup of coffee, or maybe you're trying to keep the kids from tearing through everything before the sun is even up. I just want you to take a second and notice something. So everything feels a little different today, doesn't it? The world just has this unique texture. Time sort of stretches and slows down. And your emotional dial, well, that's been turned way up. Maybe for you, it's waves of just pure, unadulterated joy. Or maybe it's this really powerful surge of nostalgia. Or, maybe it's a flicker of loneliness or just overwhelming gratitude. Whatever it is, it's resonating deeper than it would on any other day. So first, I want to wish you a very, very heartfelt Merry Christmas. And then we're going to do what we do here. We're going to impact the actual mechanics of what's happening in your brain right now, because that feeling, that sense that today carries this heavier emotional weight, what I call emotional gravity. It's not just in your head. It's a real measurable thing. It's rooted in psychology, in your biology, and in some really deep social conditioning. So our mission today is to understand exactly how this unique pressure changes our habits. How it impacts our stress, our connections, and critically, how it shifts our choices around things like drinking without us even realizing it's happening. The goal isn't to force a certain feeling or, ignore the holiday. It's to see the levers at play so you can move through the day with intention instead of just running on emotional autopilot. Okay, let's unpack this. Why does Christmas, or any big tradition-heavy holiday, feel so much more potent than a regular Saturday? It really comes down to 5 distinct psychological mechanisms. Think of them like 5 giant amplifiers all switched on at the same time, creating this really intense, saturated feeling. And we pulled these directly from behavioral economics studies and social psychology journals. This is the underlying mechanics. So the first driver is rituals and memory activation. We really underestimate the biological power of tradition. Christmas isn't just one event, right? It's a whole symphony of specific sensory inputs that only happen this time of year. Think about it. That unique smell of pine mixed with, cinnamon and maybe fireplace smoke. The non-stop presence of certain music. The specific pace of the day, of opening gifts, of cooking certain foods. These rituals are incredibly specific biological triggers. And because they are so unique to this one time of year, they activate these really deep, often dormant memory pathways in your brain. It's powerful stuff because it bypasses all your newer memories and it hits the older core ones. The ones often linked to childhood, to comfort, to a feeling of safety. So your brain instantly tags this whole experience as high stakes and historically significant. When your brain does that, it cranks up the volume on all the accompanying emotions. That's why a simple smell can just unleash a flood of feeling. Okay, the second driver, and this one is maybe the most universal, is the power of nostalgia, or what some call the bittersweet affect. If you feel a wave of emotion that's both warm and a little bit heavy at the same time, that's nostalgia at work. What the research shows is that nostalgia is rarely just pure happiness. Psychologically, it's actually this incredibly sophisticated blend. It mixes the joy of remembering the past with a sense of reflection, or even a feeling of loss. Loss of time, loss of people, loss of how things used to be. Psychologists call this the bittersweet affect. It's the sweet memory of how things were, mixed with that bitter realization that, things are different now. Maybe someone you love isn't at the table this year. The critical thing to get here is that when your brain is operating through this bittersweet lens, it acts as an emotional amplifier. It intensifies every feeling you have, so your moments of genuine connection feel even more radiant. But if sadness or anxiety pops up, it feels proportionally heavier. The whole landscape is just higher voltage. The third driver is something we can all relate to, the pressure of expectation. We are conditioned by movies, by ads, by everything. That Christmas morning must be perfect. We feel this mandate, right? You're supposed to be happy, you're supposed to be grateful, you're supposed to be connected. We're all running against this very specific social script. And the problem comes when your actual messy human emotions, maybe you're tired, you're stressed, you had an argument yesterday, when they don't line up with that script. That mismatch creates this internal pressure cooker. And we start judging ourselves like, why am I feeling this way? I shouldn't be enjoying this. That layer of self-judgment, that's a powerful driver of behavior. It often pushes us to seek a quick external buffer to sort of match the vibe. And that leads us right into our habits. Okay, Number 4 is a big biological one, and it's why the day can feel both deeply relaxing and totally overwhelming. It's the stress system pause. For most of us, the run-up to December 25th is a marathon. You're juggling work deadlines, travel, shopping, everything. You're running on high levels of stress hormones, mostly cortisol, for weeks. And Christmas is often the first genuine, full stop. When you finally stop running, when that urgent need to perform or pack or be somewhere just drops, your body's chemistry changes. Those high levels of cortisol suddenly plummet. And this hormonal shift is critical. Cortisol is designed to kind of suppress less urgent emotions so you can focus on the immediate threat. When that suppression is suddenly lifted, all those underlying emotions, the pent-up worries, the anxieties, the grief you've been pushing down, they all surge to the surface. Now, this can feel beautiful, like a sudden wave of relief and happiness, but it can also feel like a tidal wave of overwhelm. And it explains why you might feel totally serene one minute and then, inexplicably frustrated or tearful the next. And finally, number 5, which transitions us right into our habits. Contextual habits gain profound emotional meaning because of these 4 drivers: memory, nostalgia, expectation, and the hormonal shift. Your brain treats habits today, especially drinking, very differently. On Christmas, a drink is almost never just a drink. It's transformed. It might be a cherished tradition, right? A specific family punch. It might be a deliberate buffer to manage the highly charged dynamics of a family gathering. It could be a way to cope with that emotional surge we just talked about, or just an easy tool to fulfill the expectation of a holiday vibe. So because the context is so saturated with emotion and memory, any coping mechanism is subtly reframed in the brain, from a simple choice to a means of navigation. Now let's look at the actual behavioral shifts here. Because all this emotional gravity is there, we see real, measurable changes in drinking patterns. People typically drink more than usual. They often start drinking significantly earlier than usual. And most importantly, the reason for drinking often shifts from purely celebratory to being rooted in emotional regulation or coping. Look, this happens without any bad intent. It happens because you're navigating a day defined by intensity. We naturally reach for accessible mood regulators. So how do we stay grounded? How do we stay present and intentional when the psychological weight of the day is this heavy? Well, the central lesson here is this: conscious choice is the only antidote to emotional gravity. The question isn't about whether it's good or bad to have a glass of wine. It's about demanding to know why you are reaching for it. This is your intentional check-in. Behavioral scientists call this a response delay. It's designed to create a gap between the emotional trigger and your automatic response. And that little gap, that's where intention lives. So before that first sip, before you reach for that extra cookie, you need to ask yourself some direct questions and be honest. First, am I doing this for connection? Am I genuinely sharing a toast with someone I love? If yes, great. Is it for comfort? Am I using this as a warm shield because the environment feels a little loud or demanding? If so, that's okay, but maybe there's another way to find that grounding. Is it for coping? Am I trying to quickly buffer that bittersweet feeling or that pressure? This is the big one, because unchecked coping leads to autopilot. Or is it truly for celebration? Do I feel genuinely light and present and just want to mark a moment of pure joy? The answer doesn't have to change your action, but the act of noticing. The sheer act of identifying your motivation, that changes everything. The moment you notice why you're acting, you pull yourself out of autopilot and you reclaim your intention. Our actionable tool for today flows right from that. When you feel the urge, just hit the brakes. Physically pause. Ground yourself. Feel the floor under your feet, the warmth of your coffee mug, and only then ask why. Make the choice deliberate, not reactive. Now, for those of you who know it's going to be a day where drinks might flow a bit more easily, or the emotional weight is just heavy, the research is really clear that certain supportive nutrients can help manage the load on your system. Your body's detox and cognitive clarity systems are working overtime today. And we look at nutrient support as a fundamental tool for feeling better and staying sharp on days like this. 2 ingredients really stand out here. The first is N-acetylcysteine, or NEC. We highlight this because it's a precursor to glutathione, which is often called the body's master antioxidant. Basically, when consumption increases or your stress system drops its guard, your liver is working hard. NEC supports those detox pathways. It's about managing the aftermath proactively. The second is a specific form of vitamin B1 called benfotiamine. B vitamins are essential for your brain and your energy, and they get depleted by alcohol and stress. Benfotiamine is critical because it supports your mood, your energy, your cognitive clarity. The exact things you need to navigate a complex day and stay sharp enough to keep doing that intentional check-in. As the founder of Cloud9, this is exactly why we put these ingredients in products like our Daily Restore, to offer a real resource for people who want to be more intentional, especially during the holidays. So let's bring this all back to the big picture. Christmas isn't just a date, it's a high-stakes cultural event, a profound memory trigger. And most powerfully, it functions as a mirror A mirror that pulls every single emotion you have, the comfort, the anxiety, the joy, the deep nostalgia. It pulls it all right to the surface. So whatever this day brings for you, however those big, powerful feelings show up, remember this, they are absolutely valid. They are the natural psychological and biological response to a day defined by this kind of intensity. You are not alone in feeling this gravity today. Your task isn't to control the feeling, it's to notice it, and then consciously choose how you respond. I hope as you move through this day, you find at least one moment of genuine presence, one moment of clarity, or one moment of deep peace, a choice that is entirely your own. Merry Christmas. Thank you for making this part of your holiday. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.